if you're seeing this, then I've uploaded my first YouTube video, and I'm a little freaked out about it. Hi, glad you can make it to my little corner on the internet here. My name is Nina, and here to have a good time. So I don't quite know how to jump into this, so I guess I'm just diving head first. But I just wanted to create my own little space, someplace where I can just share all the shit that I get into. Just have a safe place people can find a community in, and I don't know, call home, come here when they need a safe place. I don't know, but yeah, to get us started, since we are in the middle of October, we're already on what, the second week of October. This month is going by far too fast already. I figured that to kind of kick off this channel, I would go ahead and share some scary experiences that people on Reddit have gone through. What better time to tell someone's spooky experiences than in October? So yes, I know, another person telling stories from Reddit. I get it. A bunch of people do it. I'm here to add to it. So I don't know if anyone has read these specific ones on YouTube in general. If they have, I'm sorry. But the first two, I'm sorry, I have a hair in my eye. The first two are comments that I got from an AskReddit thread, and then the third one is from LetsNotMeet. I will go ahead and make sure to link the comments and the users down below, so everyone's gonna have recognition, and then I will try to put like the usernames in the corner somewhere as I'm reading their story. But outside of that, I'm gonna be looking. I'll try here. Let's try and keep my hand up so that way I can project what I am speaking. So I had read these a few weeks back. I've been putting off doing this for a really long time, so I've been procrastinating, but anyways, I read these ages ago. The reason why I only have 3 is because I think they're kind of long. If I end up having some more time, I will go ahead and include some more, but for now, here's the first 3. So the first, so sorry, the 2 comments that I'm reading come from the Ask Reddit thread. What's your best true spooky story? Serious. So the first comment comes from user morenapkinspls, and they say, I've posted this on my other account, copying and pasting it here. The scariest thing I've had happen while camping. So I live in Eastern Oregon and my mom lives in Western Oregon. I went to visit her for the summer and she's very outdoorsy, so we decided to take the 1-hour drive from her city to the coast. We end up at this free campsite at the top of this hill, huge foothills of the coastal mountains, but about a 25-minute drive from the top where the campsite is to the bottom where the main road was, and we were the only campers there. We relaxed there for the rest of the day, made food, etc., and a truck full of men drive up the hill and talk with my mom. I don't know about what, wasn't suspicious at the time, and they leave us. Fast forward to the middle of the night. I wake up to my mom sitting straight up in the tent. I wake easily, so I heard her gasp, and it woke me. As soon as she saw I was awake, she put her hand over my mouth because I was trying to ask her what's wrong. It was dead silent, and all of a sudden you hear footsteps right beside the tent. The little flap that covers the zipper was even moving. Thankfully, my mom was quick wits and said very loudly, "Kenny, grab the gun." Kenny is my dad, although that doesn't matter, and mind you, he was not there, just as girls like I previously stated. They left. No harm was done. Thank the Lord for my mama. This is why I don't go camping. This is why I stay in my apartment, but the door is locked. I'm very thankful that they were safe, that mama did have some very quick thinking. More napkins, please. I hope you don't have any further scary experiences while camping. That would freak me out from ever going back. Okay. So, the next one comes from user KringlebertFistybuns. And they say, when my daughter was 7, she kept asking me why I was smoking in her room late at night. I was a smoker at the time, but I never smoked in her room. I never smoked upstairs at all. I told her that I sure wasn't smoking in her room late at night or at any time, but she was insistent that someone was coming in, sitting on her bed, and smoking. I was kind of freaked out, but I knew nobody was sneaking into our house just to catch a late night smoke in my daughter's bedroom. The house had belonged to the in-laws of my daughter's teacher at the time, so her teacher asked her how she liked the new house and her new room, and of course, my kid says, "It's great, but someone smokes in my room at night and mom swears it's not her." So, on parent conference night, the teacher pulls me aside and asks which bedroom our daughter sleeps in. I tell her, and she says, "I don't know what you believe, and I don't want to offend you, but your kid says someone is sitting on her bed and she smells cigarette smoke late at night. I'm getting ready for a deserved lecture on smoking around children," which I did not get. The teacher went on to tell me that her mother-in-law wasn't allowed to smoke due to health issues and that she would sneak into what was now my daughter's room at night for a few quick drags. My daughter's bed was in the middle of her favorite clandestine smoking spot. We actually lived in harmony with Hazel the ghost for quite some time. She had an annoying habit of putting things back where she thought they belonged, but otherwise she was a fine ghost. She had said in life that she had no intentions of leaving her house even after death. I did end up having a chat with her about her chosen smoking spot though, and that stopped pretty quickly. Ooh! I would have been for breezing everything, everywhere, and spritzing some holy water around as well. Although, I mean, as long as Hazel wasn't being malicious, and it sounded like she moved her smoking spot, so it was no longer affecting the child, so I guess as long as they're living in peace, fine. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, I did choose 3 comments. Alright, so this next comment comes from user NoirCellarDoor, and they say, "The house I lived in from when I was about 13 till I was 24 had some darkness. I remember hearing stories from my parents that the son of the previous owner had OD'd, but not within the house, somewhere else. Still, that always creeped me out a bit. Throughout my entire time living there, I saw and heard all the classic signs of haunted house. We had a glass cube wall, very 80s, that separated the living room from the dining room, and I saw all sorts of shadows running past on the other side in the dead of the night when I would stay up watching movies or gaming. There was never anyone awake when I'd go look. One night, when I was about 15 years old, I was sleeping in my room when all of a sudden I wake up. I used to have this HP laptop that would let off a blue light when closed, just dim enough to check the time from my wristwatch that was laying next to it. I don't know why I didn't have a regular nightstand clock. As I'm squinting to see the time, I hear something whisper my name right next to my ear. It was as if it was standing an inch from me. I jumped out of my bed, scrambled out of my room, knocking shit over in the process. I didn't stick around to see what else I could hear. I ran to the living room and passed out on the couch till the next day. For the next few nights, I couldn't sleep well and I kept waiting for it to speak again. Never did. The house came with a camera system installed, and I remember seeing all sorts of wacky things. The back fence door opening on its own when it had 2 clip locks. Granted, they're the locks that you only need to push up to get it to unlock, so it could have been a strong wind, but something about the movement of the door unnerved me. I can't explain it. It was something I felt in my bones. I learned to live with that feeling during those years, but it was always there. I have a few other stories from other family members that require a little more backstory if anyone is interested. Hearing voices is terrifying, because anytime you hear anything about people hearing voices, everyone instantly thinks, are they crazy? Have they lost their minds? I have had a similar experience, I will just say, and it was startling. I was not terrified, didn't run out, but I was startled. I was very startled. So, with that, we will go ahead and move on to the bonus story from the Let's Not Meet Reddit subreddit. And this is from user Colette3R, and she titled this Saved by a Stranger. She says, the story I'm about to tell you happened yesterday night. I live in Nantes, West France. I'm quite a petite girl and I avoid confrontation whenever I can. I'm pretty good at it because since I can remember, I had a very strong sixth sense thing. I try to avoid people who make me anxious. It allowed me to survive some very dangerous situations and prevent one kidnapping, but that is not part of the story. Yesterday, I visited a very close friend of mine. A few days ago, she broke her leg, so I decided to cheer her up by giving her a few gifts. The atmosphere was so nice that I didn't notice when it got dark outside. Despite the late hour, I decided to go home. I said goodbye to my friend and left her apartment. I was about 40 minutes from home, but I walked this distance many times without any problems, so I thought it would be the same this time. Oh, how I was wrong. Less than 5 minutes passed, and I just felt it was going to be hell. I was approaching one of the many bridges in our city. I didn't see anyone around. I thought my senses were playing a trick on me. This happened before, so I kept going. The bridge was about 20 meters in front of me before I heard a conversation and a giggle. I turned my head slightly and saw 3 men walking towards me. I felt a cold sweat on my back, but it was too late to turn back. I didn't want to show them that I was afraid. I know this type of behavior provokes more harassment. I kept walking, but turned the music down. I didn't take my headphones off because I didn't want them to know about my suspicions. I heard their footsteps behind my back. They were saying something, but I didn't know what because they were speaking in a different language. I was already on the bridge when they caught up with me. As I said, I'm a petite girl. They were over 180 centimeters tall. They surrounded me. I had no choice but to go ahead. A shudder ran through my body. I didn't know what they wanted or what they were saying, but I felt that I was in danger. They kept talking to me. They leaned over me and whispered something into my ears, and they laughed. This sound will haunt me for the rest of my life. At one point, they noticed I was doing my best to ignore them, and then the worst began. They started making animal noises. It may sound strange and maybe even funny, but it was terrifying to me. They howled, growled, whistled, and kissed the air loudly. They did these things very close to my face. Ugh. I was desperate, but where could I go? I was on the bridge. I would kill myself if I jumped into the water, or at least break both my legs if I were lucky. Those 2 minutes to cross the bridge felt like an eternity for me. When we got to the end of the bridge, I was sweaty, close to tears. I thought I was going to throw up. I was shaking, which seemed to amuse them even more. And then a miracle happened. Someone called my name, very loud. I looked up and saw someone approaching us. He was a very tall man, several years older than me, but I didn't know him. I had no idea who he was or how he knew my name. But it didn't matter at the time. I felt he was my guardian angel. He came over to us and was staring furiously at the 3 strangers. I didn't see their faces, but they fell silent. "What are you doing to my girlfriend?" he asked, still frowning at them. He stretched out his hand in my direction, never taking his eyes off them. "Come on, sweetheart." I did not wait. I didn't know who he was, why he was helping me, but I didn't care. I gripped his hand tightly and I almost nestled against his shoulder. My heart was beating fast and loud, but I was so thankful that he came to help me. 3 strangers and my savior exchanged glances. They were silent. I was starting to panic that they would attack him because he was there alone and I wouldn't have the strength to help him if they would attack, but it didn't happen. I almost heard their teeth grinding as they muttered something. My savior held my hand tightly and watched them. They turned back and went back on the bridge. We stood in the same place for some time. He looked at me and smiled, and at that moment my body gave up. I started shaking uncontrollably and I almost drowned in my own tears. He didn't say a word. He just held my hand and gave me time to cool down. After a long moment, he offered to take me home. We walked slowly and talked about various things. Actually, he was talking all the time. I was just nodding. I found out he was walking near the bridge and noticed the whole scene. He decided to react and help me if it turned out that his assumptions were correct. I asked him how he knew me and how he knew my name. He looked surprised, then smiled and said he didn't know my name. He used his name because it is one of the most popular in our country. When we got home, I was still shaky but happy. I offered him something to drink. I don't live alone, so I wasn't worried about letting him in, but he kindly declined, and we said goodbye. I can't believe how lucky I was yesterday. If I hadn't met him, I don't know if I could write about it today. So Luke, thank you. Thank you so much for saving me. I hope to meet you one day. As to these 3 strangers, I hope one day you will understand that your behavior is reprehensible, and you will change your attitude to women who walk alone, and I hope to never meet you again. That shit hits home. That shit is terrifying. I had actually reached out to this user in specific to ask if I could share her story. And she, had said that she hopes that this brings awareness to women. And truly, honestly, this goes for everybody. But she said that she hopes that this is a reminder to those to be aware when walking alone. Just be aware of your surroundings. And I feel for her with this situation. I have been in a similar situation as well, which sucks to say. I remember one time I had walked to get pizza for my aunt and my grandma and myself, and walking home, some man followed me halfway home in his car, and had I not walked up to some random person's house acting like I was about to go in there, he wouldn't have left me alone. So it's terrifying to know that this isn't a unheard of situation. And Colette, I'm so thankful that you did seem to have a guardian angel appear to you that day to save you in that situation, and I'm so glad that you are a-okay, and I hope that has not traumatized you and that you are staying safe. But she did post updates. She said that she did report to the police what had happened, and they were helpful, but she's still uneasy about the whole situation. Apparently this had happened to prior women as well in her area. So again, and it was by potentially the same people as the descriptions match. Wow. Whew, that scares me. But again, I am so glad that everyone in these stories came out okay, and they are still here to tell their tales. That's all I have for you guys today, tonight, whatever. I mean, it's night. It's like 10 o'clock. But yeah, I hope you guys got something from those stories, whatever it may be. I hope you enjoy hanging out with me, and I plan, and I know this is my first video up, so if you have any, what's that word? Constructive criticism, let your girl know, but be nice, because I'm sensitive. I will leave my handles down below if you want to hang out with me more. Not that I'm on a lot of my socials, but I'm trying to change that. I'm working on that. Like I said, I'm trying to just promote a place of my cat is getting into his bed. You good? Anyways, I have a lot planned for here. Gonna be like a little variety show. So if you just want to hang out, have some fun, take a little break from the world, come hang out, I'll be here. So hit me up on my other socials. You can reach me there. And outside of that, I will catch you guys later. Stay safe. Bye.